His Excellency Abdullah Amir Al Sabah, my greetings to you and also commend you for the manner in which you have been leading the G20 IT ministers movement. I also appreciate and commend the ministerial delegation, ministerial declaration, I'm sorry. We are indeed meeting in very challenging times. This kind of challenge occurs rarely. The whole world is impacted by a pandemic. India too was no exception. But because of the exemplary leadership shown by our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, we went to the lockdown very early, and therefore, in spite of having a population of 1.3 billion and nearly 1.16 million people getting afflicted, the rate of recovery is also extraordinary, and we have been able to contain the number of deaths. But whoever dies is a matter of concern for us, and my condolence to all of them. But what is important is, Mr. Chairman, during this COVID challenge, we have used technology very significantly to alleviate the plight of the people. Geofencing to help people in quarantine, geo-messaging in bulk, work from home movement by liberalizing the entire regime. 85% of IT work could continue as work from home. And most important, our Arogya Setu app, a fine app being downloaded by more than 140 million Indians, where you can save yourself by contact tracing if you come in contact with an afflicted person. But it is with due regard to privacy, and most important, data is for a limited period. I am very happy, Mr. Chairman, that inclusion has become the buzzword in our interactions. Digital India completed 5 years of its operations in India. And Digital India we had envisaged as a program designed to empower ordinary Indians with the power of technology, number one, bridging the digital divide, number two, and most important, bridging the digital inclusion. How we have been able to achieve that in the last 5 years, I would like to share with the Honorable Excellencies very briefly. We came with a fine model of trinity of a Jan Dhan account, bank account of the poor, Aadhaar, the digital identity to supplement the physical identity, and also linking with the mobile. We started sending all the welfare measures to the bank account of the poor. We have sent close to $142 billion to the account of the poor, and we have saved $22 billion from fictitious or ineligible claimants. This is inclusion which we have been able to ensure by digital governance. In this COVID also, we have sent billions of dollars to the account of the poor during these times of suffering. Yes, we are creating digital infrastructure, linking 600,000 cluster of villages by optical fiber. We are also having a broadband mission on a very powerful scale. India has the cheapest data in the world. All these ecosystems, plus a common service center, a cluster of digital kiosks to give delivery of services in the hinterland of India. With all this, it is very important that we graduate to the other layer of technological empowerment. And I totally commend, Mr. Chairman, your articulation of a trustworthy AI. Artificial intelligence has to be inclusive, has to be trustworthy, and most important, be dedicated towards healthcare, number one, towards agriculture development, number two, towards education empowerment, number three, and most important, digital skilling. All these three we are addressing in a very substantial measure in India. Whether our platforms like GSTN for general sales tax, UPI, India is one of the biggest digital payment centers in the world today. Also healthcare, Ayushman Bharat, a digital platform to give 500,000 rupee to millions of Indians. All this we are using in a very, very proactive, inclusive manner. Now I come to digital economy, Mr. Chairman. Digital economy as a concept is very good, because if the world is digital, economic opportunity is being created. But we all need to acknowledge very, very importantly and significantly that digital economy must go hand in hand with data economy, because data is the important component to accelerate digital economy. Yes, we understand the issue of data innovation, of data cross flow, but we also need to acknowledge the sovereignty over data. Who has the sovereign right over the data? And we are very clear that the data must belong to the sovereign nation concerned to protect also the privacy of its people, to protect the digital concerns of its people, and obviously giving good occasion for innovation, for enterprise, data cleaning, data refining, all have to have a proper balancing aspect we need to acknowledge. We in India have already finalized our data protection law after widest consultation possible, being examined by a parliamentary forum of the Indian Parliament. I would like to briefly convey to the Honorable Excellencies, we have insisted consent of the individual is important when you take his data. That consent must be for a specific purpose. The consent must be voluntary. And secondly, we have said 3 categories of data. Number 1, supercritical data which must be stored in India. Second, sensitive data which can go out with the consent of the concerned people or community. And general data which we can always share and innovate. I think when we talk about these kind of issues, there is need for more and more consultation with stakeholders, because data innovation is a very important objective which we all need to work together. Your Excellency, Honorable Chairman, we all need to acknowledge one fundamental issue which many of my distinguished Excellencies Minister also flagged. For digital economy to succeed, it is very important that digital platform is safe and secure. A trustworthy AI can never emerge unless there is a trustworthy digital ecosystem. Therefore, safety, security, cyber challenges addressed are very, very important issue. And we in India strongly commend the G20 interaction that safety, security and also cyber security must remain in focus. Then the ecosystem will become trustworthy. And if that is the case, Your Excellency, Mr. Chairman, then it is our equally concern that digital platform need to be responsive, accountable and sensitive to the concerns of sovereign nations as far as safety, defense and data privacy is concerned. If we take into account these concepts, then surely it will be a digital platform globally accountable, globally appreciated and globally subserving the larger issue which you have embodied in the declaration, which is very commendable, which I appreciate. With these words, I conclude, Honorable Chairman, my greetings to you once again.